Alright, it is time for some more video game violence. Good morning, good evening, whatever time of day it is for you. Welcome to this thing that I do called Thor's Entertainment. I am Thor, and this is going to be another Fatal Friday video. Fatal Friday is a series where I look back on my gameplay from Mortal Kombat 1, where I was casually going into the Kombat League trying to get the various characters' unique finishers like Brutalities and Fatalities. This week, the buddy cop team-up of Stryker and Li Mei is going to continue, Stryker being the super cop of Earthrealm and Li Mei being a constable in this game. This time around, I am going for the throw brutality for the Kameo Stryker. That throw brutality is titled Busted.
If there's one thing I don't miss, it's palace intrigue.
It's the worst part of being Umgadi, isn't it?
Take one. Action!
Now, the random opponent that I got this time around in the Kombat League was somebody using Tanya and the Kameo Goro, which is a pairing I'm pretty familiar with because whenever I was trying out Tanya, Goro was one of the Kameo characters I practiced with her initially, before I eventually decided to go with Sonya as the Kameo instead. And from there, the Kameo Sonya ended up being the one Kameo I used with Tanya in all of her videos, so I was pretty consistent about that. But getting back to this video specifically, it is going to be a pretty short one, which is kind of surprising considering it could have actually been a lot shorter. Now, despite this video highlighting the busted brutality for the Kameo Stryker, that wasn't the original brutality I was shooting for. I was still trying to get a brutality for the Kameo Stryker, but instead I wanted to get the It Goes Boom brutality. It Goes Boom is the brutality version of Stryker's grenade toss. And that one has a lot more requirements to it than the busted brutality does, because the busted brutality is really easy. You throw the opponent and you press down twice. As long as the throw is going to do enough damage to kill the opponent, it should activate. However, whenever it comes to It Goes Boom, you have to be at jumping distance whenever throwing the grenades. And after you throw the grenades, assuming your opponent doesn't block them, the very first grenade needs to be the one that kills the opponent. Then the other two are going to be the ones that activate the brutality. If anything other than the first grenade kills the opponent, then the brutality is not going to activate. And just one grenade by itself is not very powerful. So yeah, that brutality was reliant on you killing the opponent with a pretty weak projectile and then also being at just the right distance even though your opponent's going to be moving basically the entire time. The reason I bring that up is I actually ended up doing really good in this set against this Tanya user. After winning the very first round of the first match, in the second round I ended up getting a really big life lead. From there I just began to run away from my opponent and start throwing a bunch of grenades every opportunity that I had. And I just kept doing that, hoping I would eventually get the It Goes Boom brutality because I'd been trying to get that one for a while. Eventually though, I just got tired of throwing grenades and failing to get the It Goes Boom brutality, so I settled on the consolation prize of going for the busted brutality instead.
Worst. Prison would be too good for you.
Brutality. Li Mei wins.
And there it was, my silver medal in the form of the busted brutality for the Kameo Stryker. So yeah, I did manage to pull that off after failing to get the other brutality many different times. And because of all those failed attempts to try and get that grenade brutality and constantly running away, I feel like from my opponent's perspective I was very annoying to fight against. And unfortunately for them, that annoyance has not come to an end just yet. All because I could not get the It Goes Boom brutality the first time around in that first match, did not mean I was not going to try again. Now this first round of the second match ends up being pretty close. In fact, my opponent nearly beats me in this. Towards the very end, they have a combo that could have resulted in beating me had they landed their fatal blow, but unfortunately for them, their fatal blow ends up activating a little bit too late, so I end up surviving. They cannot recover in time to block, and I could just use Li Mei's flying knee to win the round. And about right here is whenever I try to run away and just throw projectiles, but eventually Tanya is able to pull off that combo that they unfortunately dropped just before defeating me, which gave me the opportunity to win. Now, despite how close the first round ended up being, the second round was nowhere near as close. Similar to how the second round of that first match went, this time around in the second round of the second match, I ended up getting another really big life lead. And then I thought to myself, you know what, maybe this time I can do it. Maybe this time I can get the It Goes Boom brutality. So yet again I started running away from my opponent. I was not even trying to win the fight, and I was just dragging it out, throwing a bunch of grenades again. Because I really wanted that brutality because it had been really annoying. and I had not managed to pull it off yet. Unfortunately for my opponent, they kind of just had to deal with it. Well, actually, you know, they really did not have to deal with it, and they let me know that towards the very end. Eventually, the person using Tanya was fed up with my crap and just decided to stop fighting. And they proceeded to not even try blocking me, they just went ahead and started taunting me until the fight was over. Ironically, even whenever they were not trying to win, I could not land the grenades I wanted to get that brutality, and I eventually just said screw it. Eventually I went for the busted brutality again, but Tanya ended up ducking it in the middle of taunting, and that was really funny. And then I said screw it, we're going for the uppercut. Li Mei punches off the head of Tanya, we win, I get the classic brutality, and we go out in style. So yeah, I did not get the one brutality I really wanted to get, but I still managed to go ahead and check one off of my list. And in regards to that busted brutality, I'll be sure to show it one more time at the very end of this outro, that way we can all enjoy it before we part ways on this Fatal Friday. So in this video, I think there was like a grand total of 5 minutes of fighting, which like I mentioned earlier is kind of funny because it really should have been shorter. I ended up dragging it out by running away and trying to get that brutality that I could not even get. But even though I dragged out the fight, it really did not extend it by much, considering we only got about 5 minutes of actual fighting. I guess it helps whenever you don't lose a single round in the fight. Otherwise, me dragging out the rounds like that could have resulted in a pretty long video, but fortunately it was pretty one-sided, and I got to walk away having done a brutality that I still needed to do a video on. But yeah, thank you to the random Tanya user I got to fight against in the Kombat League. I am sure that was a really annoying fight, and I swear it was nothing personal, I just really wanted that brutality. But that is going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to check out the other things I have on the Thor's Entertainment channel. I do have a bunch of other Mortal Kombat 1 related finisher videos just like this. Those can be found under the Fatal Friday playlists. And besides the Mortal Kombat stuff, I also have playthroughs of other games like the remakes of Resident Evil 1 and 2. Currently I am playing through the remake of Resident Evil 3. And then there are other games like Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver and Crash Bandicoot, so if any of that sounds interesting to you, feel free to check it out. Regardless of what you choose to do though, just thank you for checking out this video. Again, I hope you enjoyed it, take care, and hopefully I will see you next time.
Worst. Prison would be too good for you.
Brutality. Li Mei wins.